Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Committee of Adjustment meeting. We have 3 meetings this evening: Committee of Adjustment, Public Meeting of Planning, and our regular council meeting. So, calling the meeting to order. Sorry, I don't have it right here. Sorry. Deputy Mayor Williams, accept the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pardon my voice here tonight. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accepts the agenda for the Committee of Adjustment hearing on Monday, June the 22nd, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any additions or deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Okay, any disclosure of conflict of interest? Okay, seeing none, ratify the minutes. Committee of Adjustment hearing minutes Monday, February 23rd. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Cadell, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accepts the Committee of Adjustment hearing minutes of Monday, February 23rd, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any errors or omissions? Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion is carried. There are none opposed. Okay, moving on to minor variances, MV 03-2026, Manjot Sakaria. And I'll ask Councillor Cadell to put it on the table.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manley, that the Committee of Adjustment approves minor variance application MV 03-2026 as submitted in accordance with the recommendation of the Planning Department.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the applicant for this file, Monsieur Manjot Sarkaria, located at 18683 Kenyon Concession Road 2 in Apple Hill. So as you can see there, it's on Kenyon Concession Road 2, just heading east out of Apple Hill. This is a little close up of the property, so this will appear familiar to council because we passed at the end of last year a zoning bylaw amendment to permit a secondary home on this property. Manjot had applied for another home for workers on the farm. This year is for a minor variance for a different thing, but that's why it sounds, it looks familiar. So the property goes from Kenyon Concession Road 2 right up to Kenyon Concession Road 3. So this is where we're discussing this minor variance. So as you can see, there is an existing poultry barn, and there is already also a covered solid manure pit existing. The owner wants to build another one because he wants to move quota from another farm onto this farm there. So he's proposing another poultry barn. I'll explain a little bit later, a little bit closer to the property line than what the MDS would be required. So this is where we're discussing, just north of the existing poultry barn. So the purpose for this application, to seek relief from the zoning bylaw, section 11.2, for a reduction in the interior yard setback, so that's the east property line, from the minimum required 9 meter to the proposed 7 meter for the construction of the covered solid manure storage. So the covered manure storage is a little bit closer, 2 meters closer to the property line than what required. The poultry barn itself is located properly. It's at 14 meters from the line, that's okay. But also within that minor variance, when we develop agricultural development like this, we have to apply the MDS document. This document also has another setback from any property line, and in this case, both the poultry barn and the solid manure storage, it came out as a setback of 30 meters from the property line. But mainly because of topography and because of existing features on the property, I'll explain a little bit later, the owner is still proposing to put both the poultry barn there and the manure storage there. So we're asking to acknowledge this reduction in this minor variance. So there's actually one, like the typical we see when we do a minor variance for a setback from our zoning bylaw. The other two are actually from the minimal distance separation 2 that we did for this barn. So just like the one we did a couple months ago. So that's the purpose for this application. So as you can see there, so you should look here, number 4 and number 8 are existing. That's what's there now. And because of the way mainly because of topography, it goes a little bit lower towards the northwest. And because if you look at there's 3B right there, there's an existing well also just west of there. So the barn there's a setback from the barn to the well also, which had to be maintained for environmental purposes. So the barn was pushed a little bit more towards the east. There's also the existing driveway that already accesses that area, so it just needs to be extended to that new poultry barn. And because of OMAFRA's nutrient management strategy, the size of this manure, solid manure, has to be that size. And the way the barn is built, that's why it's a little bit closer. So we tried to maintain the existing line with the existing poultry barn. Because of topography, we kept it as close as we could there. So that's the reason why it's closer to the property line than what we could do. If we go 30 meters to respect that setback, first of all, the well is in the way. So it would have to be pushed up north. So then you have like a super long driveway, and it would need to be lifted because there's wetlands over there and all the way around. So it's really because of topography that we're proposing it to be there. As I mentioned it right there, has already been approved by OMAFRA. So when farmers develop their lands like this, they have to apply for, or in this case not apply, but upgrade their nutrient management strategy. In this case, this site plan was proposed and it was approved by the province. So they knew about these reduction in setback. When they come to apply for the permit, that's when they need to ask council the minor variance to build it there. So OMAFRA did already approve that. I put it in the report, it's not in the PowerPoint, but you see the table there. So it calculates the setback from 4 things. So from intensive, from a town, from Apple Hill in this case, setback is okay. From any neighboring dwelling, so in this case also we're okay. The closest one was actually the Scouts. It doesn't count as a dwelling, but the Scouts were also taken in consideration, and from any wetlands like you see there, and from any neighboring property lines. So everything is okay except from the 2 existing lot line setback. So that's, again, just to a little bit closer. So 11 and 12 is what we're proposing right now. So 4 and 8 is what's existing. I'll show it with pictures later, but 4, everything like 10, 4 and 8 is already there in place. So this is what's there now. So 2 grain bins are supplying the barn there, and then as you see behind the grain bins, that's where the solid manure storage currently is. And the new development would be just like on the left side, so on the north side of this barn right there. The forest line that you see is approximately where the property line is. So official plan designation. So where we're developing the lands, we're all in agricultural resource lands, but as you can see, there's 2 designation. It's rural up north, so eventually the owner could split some more lots, having frontage on Canyon Concession 3, as discussed when we did the zoning, but this stays as such. We're really only dealing with the minor variance, so we're not changing either the zoning or the official plan. Excuse me, so zoning in this case, special exception AG 273, which is actually for the secondary dwelling that we just passed, and rural up north. So that's our zoning. The use, so as I explained, the use will not change. So currently there's a dwelling on it, and there's the intensive livestock facility, the chicken barn, so that will stay. We're expanding the agricultural use, so the owner is proposing a 68 feet 6 inches by 236 new poultry barn with the attached 30 by 160 covered solid manure storage. So when I say covered manure storage, just to explain what it is, like when it's liquid, like for cows, it goes into a lagoon. In this case, it's poultry, so it actually goes into, like, there's a concrete pad with a roof on it, so there's no leakage, there's no spilling everywhere. So there's a curb usually around too, and it's covered. So even if it rains, it's solid manure. So that's when I'm talking about a solid manure storage. That's what it is here. So that's the existing facility right there. So it'd be a similar building, very long building with fans, doors to access the chicken. So it's a really quick cycle. So this is all taken into consideration when the owner does his nutrient management strategy. So this is what it would look like, the new one as well. There's currently 3 buildings on the property. There's the dwelling, a garage, and that building. So the use and the build, we're going to add 2 buildings, of course, but this will not have adverse effect, I guess, on neighboring dwelling in the sense that it's the exact same building that we're proposing. The setback, so I explained that a little bit. Basically, the 2-meter setback reduction is for our zoning bylaw, and then I explained the other setback reduction. So it's 30 meters for both. So we're looking at quite a large reduction, 7 meters and 9 meters and 14 meters, sorry, for the barn, and 30 is required from any property line. In this case, the neighbor directly adjacent to the property is the Scouts, the Apple Hill Scouts. A few neighbors, not the Scouts, a few neighbors around just came and asked questions about what this was. And because it's all like super fancy terms, but really it's another poultry barn that he's building. It's explained in the nutrient management strategy, but when you create or when you build a poultry barn, the smell is new, so it would affect neighbors a lot more than in this case where there's already a poultry barn there. So the impact on the neighbors, like the impact on the setback and the new nutrient units, a little bit less in the sense that the nuisance is already existing for the neighbors. So when we explained to the neighbors what it actually was, no one filed in an actual complaint for that. We just received one comment actually from Raisin Region because of the low area, the floodplain, not the floodplain, sorry, the wetlands, but we're outside of that completely, so they do not object to the development. So this is the existing entrance. It serves both the house and the current poultry barn. The exact same driveway will be used for the new one. In fact, it's one of the reasons why it's there, so we can use the same driveway. OMAFRA, so I explained that. No new, like the potential nuisance for this one's a little bit lower in the sense that it's already existing. So that was taken into consideration. The existing civic number will remain for the dwelling. The owner may apply for a new civic number for the barns eventually, but it would create maybe some confusion. Right now, there's just a real long driveway for both, and it's working well for the owner. As you can see right there, so the setback, so all the lines that you see are the calculations from the neighboring dwellings. So the closest dwellings were on the southwest and on the south of the building. And on the east, what you see is the Scouts, which are also, everything's approximately 500 meters, if I'm not mistaken. So it's way outside of the buffer zones for the setback. So here it's really just for the property line. And this is just a close-up. So again, the two buildings that you see north, those are the new proposed, so a little bit wider, a little bit less long as the existing one, but that's where the new development would happen. So you can see the covered is a little dash building up north, a little bit closer to the property line. And just to wrap up, so the 4 tests for the minor variance, so we need to ensure that it conforms with the official plan. So in this case, it's designated as agricultural resource land, so it conforms, complies with the zoning bylaw. Also here, it complies. The only thing here is the setback from 7 to 9, but it's zoned agricultural, so this fits right in. Deemed suitable and desirable for the surrounding area. Again, is it desirable, as I explained, because of topography? That's why it's so close. The nuisance is already existing, so based on all these facts, that's why it was already approved by OMAFRA as well. Minor in nature, the OMAFRA document states that when this happens, minor variance is the way to go to acknowledge, for council to acknowledge the reduction in the setback. So based on all this, it is the recommendation of the planning department that the Committee of Adjustment approve minor variance application MV03 2026 as submitted. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Jacob. And we will, it's a public meeting, so I'll ask the CAO to ask 3 times if anybody is in favor or opposed to this project.
Does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application being presented? A second time, does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application being presented? A third and final time, does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application being presented? Good.
Okay, thank you. Members of council, questions? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me. You said that you had some inquiries, but no official complaint. were the inquiries from the residences that are quite a distance away, or?
No, the two people that came are just people that saw the sign on the road, so I guess it's working. And they were just wondering, like, what this development was, or like, because of the term in my sign is really specific, like, and they just wanted to know what it was, if they were like changing the, like if it would have been liquid manure or something super more smelly or something like that. But when I explained what it was, one of them, I even showed them the nutrient management strategy and how it works a little bit. And they were just mainly questions rather than concerns.
Oh, it was a curiosity. One more question, if I
Yeah,
may.
sure, go ahead.
And the, I'm looking at the map here, because the scouts are to the east, right?
Yes,
And is that a forest in between them? And so
Yes.
they're quite protected anyway.
correct, yes, yeah. And
Okay.
I spoke with the scouts, Patrick, and he did not complain about the project at all. There's already a poultry barn there, right? So they're aware of what's happening, so, yeah.
Very good. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one quick one, not terribly specific to this, but the storage on the north side looks to be about 2 or 3 times the size of what's existing on the current building.
Yes.
Is this going to be more intensive? Are we going bigger on this, or is it just for the sake of storage and longevity in terms of not sure when you pay?
It's a little bit of both. So there's more capacity in the new building, and the requirements from OMAFRA are now to have a larger capacity to store manure instead.
So it comes down to this management strategy.
Pretty much, yes. So with the amount of chicken that's in the barn, that's specifically what specified the size of the manure storage that you need. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Madden. There being no further business to discuss, the Committee of Adjustment hearing was adjourned at 5:47.
All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. We'll move right into the public meeting of planning agenda. Are there any disclosure of conflicts of interest? Seeing none, motion to accept the agenda, Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Martin, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accepts the public meeting and planning agenda on Monday, June 22nd, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any additions or deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. None opposed. Ratify the minutes of the public meeting of planning for Monday, May 11th, 2026. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Williams, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accept the minutes of the public meeting of planning for Monday, May 11th, 2026.
Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, moving on to the zoning bylaw amendments, Z08 2026, Camille Campo. Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So again, I have my little slide here just to state that voting for the next 2 files will happen at the subsequent council meeting. So this is really just a public meeting of planning. Z08 2026, the owner for this file, Madame Camille Campo and Carl Campbell. So the location, 2430 Lagan Glenelg Road, also known as County Road 24. So as you can see right there, on the west is the corner of County Road 34 and County Road 24. So the Lagan School is right there. So it's just heading east on County Road 24. It's a flag lot, so I may as well jump into it right now. So as you can see, the shape of the property. So the existing zoning for this property was created due to a surplus dwelling. So this is one of the flag lot that we did back in the years. So the zoning is currently zoned to prohibit agricultural activity on this property. So a little bit closer, as you can see right there. So the house and the buildings were separated from the farm years ago. The civic number was kept for the dwelling, so that's what it looks like right now. A little closer again. So the purpose of the application is to rezone the property from general agricultural exception 180, which was given to prohibit agricultural use, to general agricultural special exception 284, to permit a secondary dwelling as defined in the Ontario Building Code. So basically, we're not rescinding the other bylaw, we're just adding, this is a little bit more straightforward, we're adding the use of a secondary dwelling on this property, basically. So this is the property right now. My blue box that you have there is where the intent is currently to put the secondary dwelling in this area right there. So the septic system is on the other side. We're rezoning the entire property, so the owner could change their mind, but just again, due to the logistics of the property, this would be the right place to do it. So the timing for this project, it's not established yet. It's really just for in the future for family to have at least the option of doing another home on the property. And as you know, even if the province had the push for more homes, when you're not on full services, we have to do these zoning bylaws to permit the secondary home. So official plan, agricultural resource lands, zoning designation, AG 180 to prohibit agricultural development. The size of this property, so it's 4.24 acres. This secondary dwelling will not change the current use or anything. It's really just to add the secondary dwelling, irregular shaped flag lot. So the frontage is 9.91 meters, a lot more narrow than what it's supposed to be, but it was recognized in the previous zoning bylaw. There's currently 5 buildings, so 1 dwelling, 4 accessory buildings. There's an above-ground pool, a septic system. So everything is compliant with our zoning bylaw. So when we say that it's supposed to be kept to a minimum, in this case, they were able to have 4.24 acres, which is a little bit bigger than what we see nowadays. Useful for this situation because they're able to put the house where nothing is. So everything will be compliant with zoning bylaw. So again, the property right there. So this is the existing driveway, which will be kept for the other dwelling too. So no new proposed driveway, not that we have an option anyway, because it's only 9 meter wide. But the civic number could be posted at the road for the new dwelling or could be kept as such to be decided by the owner in the future, but no new proposed driveways on the county road. This is just pictures to show the surroundings. So in this case, it's directly surrounded by, as you saw, fields, and around there's like rural residential properties and fields. There is one large intensive livestock facility, but because of the existing use, so because there's already a dwelling on the property, we do not have to apply the MDS2 for the setback. So again, just because the nuisance is existing, it is acknowledged that the new owner are aware that there's a barn, so they don't need to apply that, which is good for them because it would have been too close, but that's okay. Besides that, a few pictures of the property. So that's the existing dwelling. I'm currently facing south, so the septic system is right there. The new dwelling would be at the back of that building, right there. So it will be on the left of that building. It's still their property. So everywhere you see grass is their property. So there's lots of room to put the new dwelling. At the end of that driveway would be where the new dwelling would be. And this is just another picture to show the existing condition. So all the buildings that you see have been, well, these were of course garages, but the other one's a little bit bigger. But it's been decommissioned. It's not a barn or anything. There's no livestock on the property. It's currently prohibited. So. And yep, so just to again state, it's pretty standard, but as per Planning Act, so council is allowed to pass such bylaws. Provincial policy statement, again, the province are pushing for more homes. So in this case, it's in agricultural lands, but the use is existing, so it is encouraged to intensify, I guess, the existing residential properties. County's official plan pretty much says the same. In this case, it was a surplus dwelling. It's only to prohibit agricultural, so residential is totally permitted within these zones. So in conclusion, based on the criteria above, proposed zoning amendment conforms to the policies of the SDG official plan, consistent with the PPS, and it's compliant with our zoning bylaw. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Jacob. So again, we are in a public meeting, so I'll ask the clerk to, the CAO to ask 3 times.
Does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application being presented? Second time, does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application being presented? A third and final time, does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application being presented?
Can you go to the microphone, please?
I just say that.
Sorry, you have to turn it on.
Yes.
Oh, you got it.
Hello? I just want to say that I'm in favor because it seems like this man's done his due diligence. I've watched hours and hours and hours of this man speak on similar topics across all the backlog of council meetings. And I just want to say, great job for everything you do for the town. And on the last item, I wanted to say that I like that you asked the neighbors how they felt about it. So I just want to say, keep up the good work. I'm in favor.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions from members of council? Go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just one quick one. I'm pretty sure you always do, but people that are looking to do secondary dwellings are always made plainly aware that they're selling both of them together.
Absolutely, yes.
And do they ever question whether they would have a workaround in the future?
Sometimes yes, but in this case, because of the shape of the property,
Yeah.
the owners are totally aware that they're not going to be able to sever that. But sometimes, yes, they do inquire, and I tell them that basically I don't know what may happen in the future, but for now they're not able to separate. It's not a bypass to create a new lot. Basically, yeah, they're always made fully aware. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Councilor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've been to this property, and there's lots of room there with 4+ acres there. That's lots of land to put another dwelling on there. So
How long is that driveway?
Good question.
Looks
It
long.
must, yeah, it must be 200-300 meters for sure. Huh?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? The motion is, yeah, go ahead, sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry, we have another one. Trying to, yeah, no. Oh, yeah, we're not voting. Yeah, true, thank you. Z09 2026, Natasha Rickard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the owners for this property, Mark and Natasha Rickard, the location 2980 Wiley Road. So as you can see there, we have Glen Robertson on the right, and just northwest of that is where it is. So Wood, most of you probably know it as the brewery, so that's where it is. Very good beer, so that's where we're discussing right now. So that's it's a little closer for the property. So it's on the corner of McCormick and Wiley Road. And that is closer of the building, so it's not exactly up to date. So one of those buildings burnt down and a new one has been rebuilt. The previous use of white pine lumber, it no longer in use, but the buildings are still there. So there's also a little food truck missing on there, but basically that's what it is. There's a dwelling, accessory buildings that are now all used mainly for either residential storage or for the brewery. So the purpose for this application, so the purpose of this application, to rezone the retained portion, so the blue portion of the property from general exception 156 to general agricultural exception 285, to add small-scale home business brewery as a permitted and recognized agricultural related use. Very hard words for a French guy to say, by the way. So in this case, so basically at the end of the day, it's like a surplus dwelling. So we're basically separating the dwelling and the home-based business from the fields. We're rezoning the fields. I'll go to that in a second. But the reason why this is permitted is because the owners were able to demonstrate that the wooded area that you see at the back was actually accessory to the existing home-based business. So really what we need to do in this case is just so it's compliant with the official plan, we just need to add the specific wording, small-scale home business as permitted and recognized as an agricultural related use. So because this was demonstrated as that it's the case, they were able to keep the woods with the house. So usually we need to keep to a minimum, etc. So in this case, this is the minimum for the home-based business. That's what they were able to demonstrate. And the counties, like this, they had their severance, so they're actually separating, as you can see, the blue from the red. This is like a condition from the severance. So it's basically like a surplus dwelling. That's why I said that. But because they were able to like for hops and for maple and for ingredients for their brewery, they made their case, and the council approved that it would be kept with the dwelling. So it's 37 acres. Usually they keep like 2, 3, 4. In this case, because they demonstrated that, so I guess sometimes it works.
That's refreshing.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Big time.
absolutely, and it makes sense too. So yeah, everything worked out good in this case. So yeah, we're rezoning the blue to add that specific wording. We're not removing anything else. So as I explained, Natasha, like everything, the brewery, the events, like you'll see the actual AG is still 66 there, which was for the pine wood, I can never remember, white pine lumber. This will all remain on the property. We're not rescinding anything. We're just really adding that wording on the property to be able to leave them with the 37 acres. And also the other condition, a little bit more typical, it's to rezone the severed portion, so the red, to prohibit residential development and to acknowledge the reduction in the minimum lot area from 74 to 57. So the red portion is exactly like we do usually, but the blue is just a little bit different in the sense that we're keeping the woods. A little bit closer right here, so as you can see, basically surrounding the house and the wooded area to stay with the brewery and the dwelling, and we're separating the fields. Official plan designation, agricultural resource lands, also surrounded by it, so you most likely know the area, so most of the surroundings are either rural residential properties or fields. And the zoning designation, so it was AG 63 for white pine lumber, it became AG 156 for the brewery and the events, and now it'll become 285, I believe, to add the specific wording to be able to keep the woods with it. So at the end of the day, it's all being kept as existing. Discussion, so as I mentioned, it's currently used for Wood Brothers Brewery, surrounded by fields, so they actually use the woods for some of the ingredients in their beer. So that's why the justification was approved by the counties. I skipped over. So that's the field. So on the right side, you see at the way back there, you see the building. So that's the field that are going to be separated from the house. The area, so that's I guess what's special for this one here, because they're able to keep 37 acres on the retained portion and 57 acres, on the severed portion. It was approved by the county, so it's severance B0826. So yeah, these are only conditions for them being able to create the lot with the counties. Lot frontage, it has lots. Actually, the severed portion frontage 430 meters on Wiley Road, and it's on the corner. So it also has lots of frontage on McCormick, and the retained portion 142 on Wiley Road, also compliant with zoning bylaw. The buildings, so in this case, there's one dwelling. It has many accessory buildings, mostly for the brewery or for residential storage. So everything is compliant, like where the new property lines are being created. Everything is compliant for setback, heights, lot coverage, and everything. So that's good. Civic number is currently being kept for the dwelling and the brewery. So it's the same for both right now. So this is what it looks like. So you see so these are the storage buildings right there. So on your right-hand side is where you would see the brewery. So I'm looking at the property itself. So there's a lot of storage, new building just on the right as well, where the old building burned down. So that's the brewery. Very nice, very good beer. That's the property right there, the driveway. So it's got a long driveway surrounded by trees on the left side, like it's got, and then there's the field that we're separating. So the new property line will be pretty much where we see the line between the grass and the field right there. Everything on the right side will be kept with the brewery, including the woods at the back. Driveway entrances, so there's one entrance right now for the dwelling and the brewery. The entrance is compliant, like deserves, like all the parking, everything is made accessible from that existing entrance for the brewery. And there's also 2 existing driveways, one that's kind of new that you see right there on Wiley Road, and there's also another one on McCormick Road to access the field. So there's lots of access. There's no issues for the severed property either. Here, just quickly, Planning Act. So such bylaw can be passed by council, and then PPS and official plan. I explained why in this case this was permitted. So just because we were able to justify the fact that the woods are part of the home-based business, and we're adding that specific wording to comply with the SDG official plan. So this was, severance was already permitted. So in conclusion, the proposed zoning amendment conforms with the policies of the SDG official plan, consistent with the PPS, and it's compliant with our zoning bylaw when we add all of those specific terms there. So, yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Jacob. I'll ask the CAO.
Does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application being presented? A second time, does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application being presented? And a third and final time, does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application being presented? Nobody? Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Do they have any intention to do something with the fields?
The fields?
Yeah.
I'm not sure for now.
You
It'll be
don't know.
kept for them. They may sell
I
it
think it'll
to,
likely get sold.
You think
Yeah.
it'll likely get sold?
most likely to a neighboring farmer, but and they wanted to keep the woods for
Okay,
them.
yeah, okay, well, that makes sense.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, really.
Forgot to mention that we received no objections or comments for any file from members of the public, by the way.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any further questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Madden.
I just wanted to throw in that it's a really great subtlety that the home-based business aspect lets them keep that extra land. Like, I don't remember the last time we had something that was, I'm gonna say beyond 5 acres. So, good for them, that's awesome.
I have to give credit to the owners. They really, like, they send an email, they explain exactly. So that was, I think, the kicker. They explained really well why the woods were helping out the business. So they have, like, they have maple, so they can use the maple to create different kinds of beer, and they may use for hops and stuff. So they really justified the fact that the forest is part of the brewery and not part of the agricultural land. So the counties agreed, and they found, like, Peter is very good with that stuff too. So by adding the specific wording, everything is compliant. So yeah, it turned out good. Yeah.
It's great news. Okay, and there's no old business, new business, and we have adjournment. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that there being no further business to discuss, the public meeting of planning was adjourned at 6:08 PM.
All those in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, we'll go right into the regular meeting as we're already 10 minutes behind. Yep, sorry. Oh, yeah. Oh. Do we need them? Okay, good evening, everyone, and I will ask you to please stand for the national anthem. Okay, thank you, and welcome to members of council, staff, the public, and the public watching online. I will call the meeting to order. Are there any declaration of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof? Councillor Massey.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to declare a conflict of interest on item 6A, item 1. Please.
6A, item 1. We'll grab that. Okay, thank you. Any other conflicts of interest? Seeing none. Adoption of the agenda. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Cadell, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accepts the agenda for the regular meeting of council on Monday, June 22nd, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on the agenda? All those in favor? Motion is carried. None opposed. Adoption of the previous minutes. Councillor Cadell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manley, that the minutes of the following meeting be adopted as circulated. That is the regular meeting of council minutes, Monday, May 25th, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried. Moving on to delegations, Maxville Lagoon update. Welcome to Marco Vincelli from EVB Engineering.
Thank you, Your Worship, Council, Administration, members of the public. My name is Marco Vincelli. I'm here from EVB Engineering to give you an update on the progress we've made with the environmental assessment for the Maxville Lagoons. So the project drivers behind this study is that the rated capacity of the Maxville Lagoons is at 450 cubic meters per day, and it's slowly climbing, or the population is growing, and the flows are increasing in Maxville. There are also some issues with the ammonia effluents within the discharge that occurs every spring at the lagoons. So we developed this opportunity statement that we're carrying forward, that since this establishment of the supply of municipal drinking water to Maxville, growth has pushed the Maxville Lagoons to its rated capacity. The township has initiated the environmental assessment process to identify the preferred solution for increasing the rated capacity at the Maxville Lagoons. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to expand the ability to treat all of the wastewater in Maxville so that we can have growth within Maxville for the next 30-ish years. So what we've done is we've identified all of the developable areas within the urban settlement boundaries of Maxville, and have identified that we can increase the population by 321 dwellings to 561 dwellings by 2051, and then ultimately to 858 dwellings within the available area in the Maxville service boundaries. So what that means is the current average daily flows would increase from about 412 cubic meters per day to just around the 950 cubic meter per day area. So what's in Maxville? Currently, all of the wastewater flows to the north end of Maxville, where there's a pumping station that then transfers everything up to the existing lagoons. So they're currently facultative lagoons, so there's no aeration or any other kind of treatment at the lagoons. All of the wastewater flows into the south distribution channel, which then divides the flow and it flows into either cell A or cell B, where it's held until the spring discharge period, at which time the operations from the township discharges the contents of the lagoons to the Cummings drain, and then seals up the outlet and does it again in the following spring. So in phase 2 of the EA process, we looked at a number of different alternative solutions to provide this required rated capacity. Obviously, the do-nothing option does not provide any additional capacity at the plant and ends up limiting the growth within the area. So that does not solve our problem or our opportunity, so it was rejected at the first and second phase. The second option was to increase the discharge frequency. So we can look at introducing a discharge in the fall. So currently it's discharging every spring. So if we discharge it in the fall, we can almost double the capacity of the Maxville lagoons without expanding the lagoon volumes themselves. So it was shortlisted for further consideration. Alternate solution number 3 was to expand the lagoon size. This would require additional property, and it was not accepted because it was a more expensive option than option number 2. And then option number 4 was to replace the lagoon with a mechanical plant. And due to the cost there, it was rejected as well. So if we were to further develop alternate solution number 2, which was the increase in frequency of discharges from the Maxville lagoons, we had 2 design alternatives. So there's 2 different technologies that we can use to treat the discharge of the effluent prior to the receiving stream in order to get the effluent quality that's needed and that has been approved by the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks. So one of those technologies is the SAGAR system, which is the same technology that we're currently constructing here in Alexandria. So to do this in Maxville, we'd be looking at putting some aeration within the lagoon cells to pre-treat some of the wastewater prior to it flowing into one of 2 granular filters that then further purifies the wastewater prior to discharge. So the ministry has already accepted the projected effluent quality from these units. So we are developing it as an option. Right now, it stands at a construction cost of just over $11 million. So if we were to look at the layout of a SAGAR system, currently, okay, it doesn't work on the screen. So currently, in the middle of the 2 lagoon cells on the north side, there's a discharge chamber, which takes discharge from both of the lagoon cells and sends it out into the creek that then flows to the east. So what we would do is tie into that line, install a pumping station that could then transfer the effluent from the lagoons up into one of 2 SAGAR systems, which are running east-west just north of the cell on the left-hand side, where it would be further treated, and then it would flow by gravity to the same discharge ditch that flows off to the property in the east. So these SAGAR cells would be about 6 meters wide and about 40 meters long. And they're full of granulars, which we can show. The second technology that we looked at is a product from Veolia, which is Lagoon Guard. And what it requires is, instead of constructing these granular cells, we'd be putting in concrete tanks. And inside the concrete tanks, we would be putting little floating media that almost looks like bottle caps off of water bottles or pop bottles. And they float in the wastewater, and it gives a surface area for bacteria to grow on. And then that bacteria consumes the constituents of the wastewater and provides additional treatment. This works. It's a technology that's been used in Castleman. It can achieve the effluent limits that are required in Maxville. The issue is its cost is slightly higher at just over $13.5 million. So the biggest difference between the Lagoon Guard and the SAGAR system is the footprint requirements. Now, the footprint really isn't a large issue. There's property on every side of the existing Maxville lagoons. So these tanks are much smaller than the Sagar systems, but they can be situated anywhere within that area. So in reviewing the pros and cons of both of those technologies, the Sagar system does provide an advantage, as it's a technology that's going to be familiar to the operations group here in the township. It also has a lower operating and a lower capital cost. So unless footprint becomes a real concern, then the option that we would recommend would be the Sagar system. So the next steps would be to take this information to the public, and we currently have a public information session scheduled for June 24th. Following that, we'll have an environmental study report that then gets published. It'll be put on made available to the public so that everyone can see what has transpired. And then at the end of a 30-day review period, it becomes accepted and the township can move forward with the next steps of implementation of the recommendations. And those next steps would be the detailed design of the system, the application for environmental compliance approval from the ministry, and then the construction of the facilities that are required. And that's...
Okay, thank you, Marco. What's the timeline for if that is the accepted or the accepted way that we're going to do it? What's the timeline for us to, for you guys to do the design of it?
Through you, your mayor, we have provided a proposal to the administration. It's a process that takes a little bit of time because we have to go through the pre-selection process of obtaining the equipment quotations to incorporate into the detailed design. So we are projected to have that design tender ready by March of 2027. If there are issues with the funding authority, or if we need to fast track that, we can talk about how to accelerate that design process.
And in coming up with the price, did we use any of the unit rates from the current Alexandria Lagoon project?
Through you, your mayor, yes, we did. We were very fortunate when we went to tender of the Alexandria project, and we came in under budget. So our construction cost estimate, our first meeting, was slightly higher than it currently is shown in this estimate.
Yep. Okay. Questions, Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Marco. This is an all-around good news story. I mean, it wasn't too long ago that we realized we had that problem in Maxville. Unlike Alexandria, we haven't had to wait 30 years in order to have it solved. So you guys have really stepped up to the plate, and it looks to me like produced some really solid and attractive options that are going to allow this to happen quickly. It looks like it's all happened very fast, which is, well, from our perspective, very appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Councillor Cadell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just, the growth predictions for Maxville, what do you base that on?
So, sorry.
Through Mr. Mayor, SDG did a 50-year projection study, so the planning department of SDG put that together for us.
I just wondered, they expect major industry to move in, or
Sorry.
what would cause it to grow like that?
Well, we're seeing growth along that 417 corridor in St. Isidore. Chrysler, Castleman is almost full. Also Moose Creek. So I think that's the intention, that we hope that will be one of those destinations that they can still work in the city but live in a small town. You had a question?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, without referencing the specific study, but I would have assumed that they would have looked at the growth rate in the region, assuming the services issue gets addressed, and they would have applied that over the time horizon. And that would have really generated the population change that they're predicting. It's certainly an estimate, but that's probably the method that they used.
Councillor Cadell?
I brought this up previously, that between the last two census, the population had declined 8%.
In Maxville?
In Maxville, and I brought that up several times. But now we have a census this year, so it will either confirm,
Yep.
where we're going or cause concern.
No, absolutely.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I suspect they looked at the broader region outside of Maxville and applied that just due to the services issue. And then additionally, they would have looked at the urban settlement boundary as well to see what the developable land is. And that's what we would have done during the EA process as well.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Madden?
Thank you, Marco. Just a question about the tech on this. Is it something that treats ongoing, or does it treat only at the time of release?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it treats at the time of release.
Okay.
What we would be looking at doing is putting a little bit of a recirculation line in it, so that prior to the date of release to the natural environment, we can start some flow through the Sagar system, which will help develop the bacterial growth that's required in order to treat the wastewater.
Yeah, perfect. That's what I was wondering. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Martin?
Any idea, Marco, how much extra land we're gonna need to?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we have provided administration with a footprint requirement of the amount of land that's required on either the north side or another side of the lagoons. The advantage to the north would be that your receiving streams located in that location. If for some reason we can't acquire the property to the north of the existing lagoons, we will be configuring a pumping station. So we should be able to pump it to the south side or the west side, whichever property owner is.
Just, I talked with the property owner, he was just curious how much more, because he knew there'd be more land needed, but he was just curious to how much.
Not to be quoted, but I think it's almost a 50-meter strip
So it's
on the
not
north
fun.
side.
Okay, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, now that the EA process has advanced to this stage, we'll be beginning contact with the property owners in the immediate area. So we'll be in touch with the property owner shortly.
That's what I told him, he'd probably be one of the first to know.
Yep. Further questions or comments? And with the current envelope of money that we received from the province, we'll be able to cover both projects. Well, I guess I'll ask you, Tim.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, absolutely, that's our current projection. So we're able to use the savings or the cost efficiencies found in the Alexandria project and apply them to the Maxville project. We've been having correspondence with the provincial government, and no issues are foreseen. So it's fully anticipated that we'll be able to advance the Maxville project upon completion of the EA.
Okay. Oh, I thought you had your hand up. Sorry. Okay, any further questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you, Marco, for your presentation. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on to staff reports. Community Services Department, CIP application 475 Massey Crescent. Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Move by myself, seconded by Councillor Madden. That the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report CS 2026-17, Community Improvement Plan Application 475 Massey Crescent, Alexandria, Ontario. And that Council approved the Community Improvement Plan grant in the total of $10,047.50 for the property located at 475 Massey Crescent, Alexandria, Ontario, as submitted by the property owner, Jacques Massey, consisting of Program A, Planning and Design Grant of $230, representing 50% of the eligible cost of preparing architectural and or site plans for the proposed facade improvements. Program B, Building Improvement Grant of $7,500, representing a matching grant of 50% of eligible costs for improvements to 2 street visible facades. Program C, Commercial Signage Grant, $1,917.50, representing a matching grant of 50% of the eligible signage costs. Program E, Building Permit Grant, $400, representing 100% of the eligible building permit fees. Total grant funding, $10,047.50.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight we are presenting a CIP application that had been presented to the Arts, Culture and Heritage Committee at a recent meeting this spring. The property located at 475 Massey Crescent, also commonly known as Alexandria Milling, is an animal feed store that's been a part of this community for several decades. The existing building has seen quite a bit of wear and tear over the years, and as such, the property owner is looking to transform the storefront to modernize the building and create better curb appeal to reflect the nature of the business that they operate there. So as part of their CIP application, they are eligible under several program components of the CIP program. So they will be looking to install, an entirely different storefront, as you can see in the picture, based on the mock-up, inclusive of, a new front entranceway, an accessible ramp, decking materials, new roof, wood siding, with a country-looking style wood posts and beams to be pictured at the front of the entranceway. In addition to that, they'll be installing a commercial door that's accessible for wheelchair users. They'll also be tapping into or requesting to use the commercial signage grant for their building to enhance the signage, as you can see in the white lettering that's pictured at the front of the storefront. This will include the removal of the existing signage and fabrication of new pop-out lettering and the installation of the hardware and lighting to accompany that. So as such, this grant was submitted under, as mentioned, Program A, Program B, and to be noted for under Program B, this project is eligible for both the front facade and being the secondary facade is still facing a secondary street. It was eligible for an additional $2,500 in funding to support the continued appearance to be completed with the board and batten on the secondary side of the business. So as such, staff are recommending to council this evening to support the total amount of grant funding to be issued in the amount of $10,047.49. It should be noted the total estimated cost of this project exceeds $39,000 for the entire completion of the work. And it should also be noted that per the requirements of the CIP program, the property owner, if approved this evening, would have up to 18 months to complete the work, in which case the funds would only be released at that time following the completion of the work. Subject to any questions, this is my report for council.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Go ahead, Councilor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me. Obviously, significant improvement. And will be fantastic to see that from Main Street. I just want to make sure we've covered everything as far as council being allowed to benefit from this program and making sure we're not contravening anything.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. So naturally, when this application came forward to the Arts, Culture and Heritage Committee, we did want to make sure we did our due diligence to make sure there were no overarching bodies that would limit the applicant from proceeding with the process. And upon our due diligence in reviewing the guidelines and the policies associated to the CIP program, along with the other policies within the township, we were not able to identify any potential conflicts as a result of the applicant proceeding with the work.
Good. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Goodell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a huge improvement for a crucial area of town. It does look sorry right now. And, no offense to anyone, but it would be a great thing for that area, for the town. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. If there's no further questions or comments, call the vote. All those in favor of the motion? The motion is carried. Okay, moving on to 2026-18 CIP application 53 Dominion Street. Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couldn't find Councillor Massey. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Martin, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report CS 2026-18 Community Improvement Plan Application 53 Dominion Street, North Alexandria, Ontario, and that Council approves Community Improvement Plan funding for the property located at 53 Dominion Street North, Alexandria, Ontario, in the amount of $7,500 under Program B, Building Improvement Grant, representing a matching grant of 50% of eligible costs to a maximum of $7,500 for improvements to 2 facades visible from the street. And the council approves a municipal loan in the amount of $8,868.13 under Program F, Municipal Loan Program. Total grant funding is $7,500. Total loan funding, $8,868.13.
Okay, thank you. Stephanie?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is the second CIP application that we've received so far in 2026. Within our CIP plan, in addition to prioritizing business and commercial property improvements, the program also supports the intention of making aesthetic and restoration of heritage properties as part of our CIP program. So what's presented to you tonight, or this evening as part of this application, is to make restoration improvements to an existing heritage property. The property located at 53 Dominion Street in Alexandria was designated a heritage property and exists on our North Glengarry Heritage Register, with the mansard-style roof being a key physical attribute as part of its bylaw into the Heritage Registry. The roof wraps around the entirety of the house and is separated by a chimney on the north side of the property, which is facing Elgin Street. Just of note that this is on, again, a corner lot, so it does have, again, two facades that are facing the street, making it eligible for an additional allotment of funding. As you can see in the picture, the chimney, which is not original to the building, is in quite a need of disrepair. So as such, the property owner is looking to remove the chimney in order to replace and restore the roof that, again, is a part of its key heritage features. So as such, the property owner would be eligible to receive funding, a matching grant of 50%, up to the amount of $7,500 in grant funding. And in addition, they've requested use of Program F, which is the CIP Municipal Loan Program, to assist with a loan in the amount of the remaining amount to complete this project. Subject to any questions, this is the second CIP application this evening, which, if approved, would leave the remaining budget for CIP requests for the remainder of the year at $12,452.50.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? Go ahead, Councilor Madden.
Just one to say, I think, again, good use of this program in terms of supporting rejuvenation of a house. I think they had done some work to the veranda previously, if I'm not mistaken, but I know Linda loves that house, and glad she's doing something to it.
Okay, thank you. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Moving on to 6A3, 2026-19, allocation of Celebrate Canada funding. Deputy Mayor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report CS 2026-19, allocation of Celebrate Canada grant funding, and that Council approve the allocation of $6,000 in Celebrate Canada funds received as follows: Alexandria Celebration $3,600, Glen Robertson Celebration $800, Apple Hill Celebration $800, and Maxville Celebration $800.
Okay, thank you. Stephanie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We were very fortunate to once again receive funding from the federal government through the Celebrate Canada program in the amount of $6,000. And so as such, as previously presented to council earlier this year when we made the application to the federal government for this grant, we would like to give back those funds to those the respective hamlets and communities that are hosting these events in recognizing the large costs and expenses to run these events. And as noted in previous reports, we're very grateful for the relationship and the working relationship that we have with both the Alexandria and District Lions Club locally, who runs the Alexandria celebration, and the various recreation associations who run these events across North Glengarry as well. So as such, in consideration of the expense reports that the township does receive from these respective recreation associations and organizations in executing these events, we are recommending that we disperse the funds in a way that captures the volume of expenses, and also to capture a larger allocation to Alexandria, just simply due to the size and scope of the event, which generally attracts the largest attendance, but still recognizing and trying to assist also with the smaller events as well that take place across North Glengarry, subject to council's approval. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Massey.
Just a simple question. Maybe I'm mistaken, but was this not the grant from the feds, 7,500 before, or did they lower it, or?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, in past years, the township has been successful in receiving higher amounts from this grant. Unfortunately, while we've requested for a higher volume of funds, 6,000 was the amount that we were successful in receiving for this year.
Because we always use.
Yeah, we always used to get at least 7,500. Seemed. Am I getting cheap? Yeah. Okay, any further questions or comments on this? Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Okay, item 4, 2026-20 Angus Wallace Hope Community Garden. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Williams, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report CS 2026-20, naming the Alexandria Community Garden, and that the Council approve the naming of the recently developed community garden located at 199 Main Street North, Alexandria, as the Angus Walter Hope Community Garden, in recognition of the late Mr. Angus Walter Hope's contributions to the community of North Glengarry, and that the council authorizes staff to work with the Alexandria Lions Club and the Hope family regarding the installation of an entry archway and associated commemorative signage for the garden.
Okay, thank you. A mistake in the report. It's Wallace, so not Walter. Okay, Stephanie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you. We certainly want to recognize the typo within the report and note that it is in fact Angus Wallace Hope Community Garden that we are seeking to have the garden named after. So the township was recently approached by representatives of the Alexandria and District Lions Club, who noted that with some of the as we're working towards finalizing the community garden here in Alexandria, we now have the boxes in place. They're filled with soil and are quickly growing with, numerous vegetables and produce for the community to benefit from. And as we looked at different design options, we really felt it was missing, kind of an archway or something to make it a more inclusive space for the community to come and enjoy and take advantage of, the great asset that we've created there for the community. So as such, the Alexandria and District Lions Club has asked for council to consider naming this site or the community garden after Mr. Angus Wallace Hope, who sadly passed away on May 26th recently, though dedicated much of his life to serving the people of Alexandria and North Glengarry throughout volunteerism, community leadership, recreation, and charitable service. Notably, he was a charter member of the Alexandria Lions Club, contributing decades of volunteer service, a 70-plus year member of the Alexandria Masonic Lodge, president of the Alexandria Junior B. Glens Hockey Club from 1977 to 1982, during a formative period in the organization's history, and the list goes on of his contributions to this community. So as such, the Alexandria Lions Club believes it would be appropriate to commemorate Mr. Hope's legacy by naming the community garden in his honor. And so what they've proposed doing is partnering with the township to install a decorative archway to identify the site as the Angus Wallace Hope Community Garden. And to support this initiative, the Alexandria Lions Club has committed $2,000 towards the installation of the archway. And in addition, Mr. Hope's son has also generously offered to match the Lions Club contribution, creating a total community contribution of $4,000 towards this archway project. In addition, the Community Services Department would have adequate funds to assist a further $2,000 towards this initiative, subject to Council's approval. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Questions or comments? Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I go through there, and we had that discussion many times over the last year, I guess. I'm happy that it's being used now. But in the off-season, could we just not try to fix they're not very level, they kind of look awkward, the boxes? Yeah, some are slanted and kind of this archway and the implication of the Lions Club will help a lot. And also, I was thinking yesterday, if we do promotion through the Saint Vincent Paul or something, I'm surely there's a family in need that could benefit from this. It was a very, very good idea from the get-go, like we had a few years ago. And I think that's what we would want to promote too, because I know there's some vegetable in there now, I can see that, but and then maybe expand in the coming years, because for poor people, it'd be very big assets for them. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, if I can just add, it is fully our intention, once we kind of finalize and come up with our plan for the community garden, we do want to do a formal announcement and really unveil the community garden to announce and make sure that all of the community partners are aware of this available resource in the community. And in addition to your point, I agree, I would see probably in phases year over year, we could continue contributing to the garden and seeing it grow in different ways.
Okay, thanks for your question. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Okay, you're busy today, Stephanie.
Yes.
Application 2621, application to the Build Community Strong Fund, Local Impact Stream. And that is Councillor Cadell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manley, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report CS 2026-21, application to the Build Community Strong Fund, Local Impact Stream, and that Council provide direction to staff to submit an application to the federal government's Build Community Strong Fund, Local Impact Stream for the Maxville and District Sports Complex slab replacement.
Okay, thank you. Stephanie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My last report for this evening. So council is aware that the replacement of the arena slab in Maxville has been identified as, a priority that's definitely on the radar that council has supported by investing some capital funds to be put away in reserves. And as we continue to try and build capacity to support this project, staff are actively looking for any grant funding opportunities to support offsetting the costs to the tax base to support this project. So as such, we were quite pleased to see the announcement of the Build Communities Strong Fund, Local Impact Stream, which we feel aligns well with the scope of the project, being that it does prioritize shovel-ready community infrastructure projects, such as recreation and sport facilities that provide broad public benefit. And so as such, if successful in receiving the funding, the township could be eligible for up to 50% of eligible project cost to a maximum federal contribution of $1 million per project. The total cost estimate of the slab replacement is approximately $1.9 million. But I should also add that under this grant funding opportunity, we would be eligible for stacking of the funding, and staff are currently awaiting the Province of Ontario's Community Sport and Recreation Infrastructure Fund, which was announced earlier this year, but we're still waiting further details in the intake period to open up. So if successful with both funding applications, there's potential to further offset the costs associated to this work. If successful with this grant application, construction would be proposed to commence in April of 2027. This would follow the conclusion of the ice rental season and would have minimal disruption to the ice users during that period of time. Any remaining project costs after eligible grant funding would be brought back to council for approval naturally in consideration of any municipal capital reserves or other approved capital financing strategies, but could be later determined at that time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Obviously, the kind of grants we like to see and like to get, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. The stacking aspect, fantastic. We did 260 in this year's budget, and I think we had presumed that we would do the same thing next year, or council will do the same
Whatever
thing next year.
the new elected council would
exactly.
propose in the next budget.
So if that gets us to, call it $500,000, and we're at 1.9, if we could get another $500,000 out of the Ontario government and get this done, would be awesome. Obviously, if we get more than $500,000 out of the province of Ontario, it'd be fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the pricing, is that based on what we did in Alexandria, or is it based on current engineers?
No, so thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this was conducted, we did have an engineer come in and do all of the work involved, drawings and designs to assess the Maxville slab specifically.
Okay.
So this project is very much grant ready in the sense that we'll be able to apply and have all the documentation and engineering designs required to proceed.
And sometimes that puts us up to the top of the pile that we're shovel ready, so that's good news. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Okay, moving on to, thank you, Stephanie, for your reports.
Thank you.
The Treasury Department, DR 2026-02, the Morrison Drain Branch A abandonment. Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move myself, seconded by Councillor Madden, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive staff report DR 2026-02, Morrison Drain Branch A abandonment, and that council proceed with the abandonment of Branch A, and that the bylaw 3226 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council as 22nd day of June 2026.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Zoe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Morrison Drain Branch A was originally constructed in 1954 and then relocated in 1989 to help improve farming operations. Earlier this year, a landowner requested the abandonment of Branch A. The Township's drainage superintendent reviewed the location and deemed that the petition was valid. The notice of abandonment of drainage works was circulated and there was no request for an engineer's report. The branch is located entirely on one property, and as such, only one property required notification. Bylaw 32/2026 is attached, which allows for the official abandonment. In passing this bylaw, this section of the drain would no longer fall under the Drainage Act, and the township would no longer be responsible for maintenance or improvement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Massey.
Excuse me if I'm missing something. What does that actually mean? Like, I see that property there. So there was a drain there before, so now it's, we take it out of our books and we leave it to the owner. Okay. Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Yep, go ahead, Councillor Manley.
So Zoe, that drain doesn't go anywhere then, really?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. No, so that's the upper section, and it's actually the property owner who is requesting the abandonment.
Right.
So they've since have other means of drainage, most likely tile drainage,
Right.
and they find that the drain on the property is encumbrment.
Yeah.
So they've decided to abandon it. That does not mean they cannot have a ditch. It just would not be maintained under the Municipal Act, which would give them
perfect.
more freedom.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Thank you, Zoe. Moving on to Planning, Building and Bylaw Department, 2026-18, appointment of Deputy Chief Building Official. Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Martin. The Council of the Township of North Glengarry received staff report number BP 2026-18, the appointment of a Deputy Chief Building Official, and that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry adopts bylaw 2926/2026, being a bylaw to appoint a Deputy Chief Building Official for the enforcement of the Ontario Building Code Act within the municipal jurisdiction of the Township of North Glengarry. And that bylaw number 29/2026 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council as 22nd day of June 2026.
Okay, thank you. Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as you know, we have hired Jason Vizina as a Deputy Chief Building Official for a few months now. Everything is going really well. He comes in pretty much like Michelle before. He's got lots of experience, more than 15 years in both Ontario. So he came in fully qualified, OBOA, everything. He also worked for many years in BC, so it's very interesting to know the differences in building codes. But anyway, lots of experience. Very, very good hard worker. So this is really just the bylaw to actually appoint him, as you saw in the bylaw, like under Municipal Act, Building Code Act, Provincial Offences Act, so under everything, basically, so that he could, as you know, a building official, every municipality has to have one. So if for some reason, annual leave, illness, disability, all those things I don't plan on having, but whatever, it can happen. So we need the chief building official. So in this case, being appointed as deputy chief building official, if I'm not here, he can do exactly like I do. So main thing, issue building permits and issue orders, building plan review. So basically doing everything he's doing now, but under the CBO title, because it's mandatory to have one for every township. So this is really just to appoint him, the bylaw that you see as all of these things in case something ever happens. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Working on to C2, BEP 2026-19 zoning bylaw amendment number Z07-2026, Wilco Finger. Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is a zoning bylaw that was presented at the public meeting of planning on, at the last one, I guess, last public meeting, I don't have, 11th of May, there you go. So it was presented at the public meeting of planning. It was to rezone, like the picture you have there, to rezone the blue portion, so the retained portion, to prohibit any residential dwelling, and to rezone the severed portion, so where the dwelling and the buildings are located, to prohibit agricultural dwellings. So this was a really straightforward surplus dwelling. Everything was okay. Lot frontage, lot area. We have received no further comments from any agencies or members of the public. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The neighbor who was upset
Yes.
about our fence line, I did speak to the proponent. He asked if we had heard back from her. I said it would be a staff thing. So have you communicated with her to make sure everything is copacetic?
Yes, I communicated with both her a few times and with the owner as well. A little bit my fault. There was a little bit of a misunderstanding because a clear-cut permit was issued, but 2 years ago. So I didn't remember that specific property. Anyway, it was all done as per the permit. There were some issues, and the both owners discussed together. I talked to the lady that was here. She seemed satisfied with the way things were going. It's not completed, but we're keeping an eye on it. But yes, I spoke with both, and things are moving in the right direction.
Good.
It's good. Go ahead, Councillor Massey.
Yeah, I remember that meeting too, and I think we had put a kind of condition that we were going to let this go,
Based on-
adopt this as a bylaw or accept this, but we want to make sure that it is resolved, because if we adopt this tonight, if it's not resolved, then it's going to come back and bite us.
It's
Yeah,
still-
sorry.
No, but it's still under the clear-cutting bylaw.
Yeah,
so-
legally speaking, it's two completely different things. This is really just for the severance and for the zoning. The other thing was really a complaint about the clear cutting
Okay.
and the way it was
So
conducted.
So the issue was with the clear cutting
Yes,
permit? Okay.
definitely,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments?
Like to make the motion?
Oh, we can do that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Williams, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry adopt the zoning bylaw number Z07-2026, and that bylaw Z07-2026 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 22nd day of June, 2026.
Do you want me to start over, Mr. Mayor?
No, thank you. Okay, any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Okay, thank you, Jacob. Moving on to Public Works Department, PW 2026-13, DWQMS Management Review. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive report PW 2026-13 and PW 2025 DWQMS Management Review for information purposes only.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the purpose of this report is to inform council as the owner of the township's municipal drinking water systems of the findings and outcomes of the 2025 annual management review. I've been in front of council many times before, and we have many reports of this nature updating us on our drinking water quality management system. Brief overview, the drinking water quality management system is essentially a system of checks and balances, mostly operational manuals and the like and the system incorporates internal audits, external audits, and an operational package so that we can make sure that we review it and we stay on track. So we're doing very well. This management review, the main things that came up was that we had some staff changeover last year. We had one drinking water quality issue at the plant, which was where we had an inexperienced operator running the plant for the first time, made a mistake, and one of the foremen had to come in and correct it. But apart from that, no operational issues. We have some action items to go up. We had some action items that we reviewed at the time. This was in March, and since then we were actually essentially covered all of them. A lot of them were covered by the asset management plan, which is in its final stages now. Operational, we had some minor equipment defects to follow up on. Things like the auditor suggested that we add a WMIS label to a particular sodium chloride container. It has other labels, but they wanted the WMIS label as well. So that sort of recommended improvement, not a non-conformance report. We actually had no non-conformances in our last two reviews. We need an operational plan update. There was some links to the waterworks on website. The portion of the website was broken when the auditors checked it. That's been since fixed. And there was concern about the Public Works Administrator was new at that time, so they really hadn't been brought into the system. So we talked about that a little bit. Operational, our main concerns remain around water loss. We've made some improvements there. We've installed meters on the Alexandria Fire Station and the Maxville Water Station, which should help us quantify those flows a lot. There's also, we've introduced some protocols around the Public Works Department when they're doing dust suppression and taking water from the booster station, trying to count that water a little bit better. However, we're also noting that a lot of the capital funding is going towards the lagoons, and even though they are separate, we have a financial cap for what we can do. So there was a review and understanding that we're not looking at major expansion or replacement projects in the near future for the water system, as the concentration is on the lagoons. Apart from that, there was no real major updates. The GQMS system is working well, and everything is well documented, and operations are proceeding well.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Tim. It's always riveting reading. Just something I saw in the notes, because obviously it becomes record going forward. There's a mistake in I think it's a mistake in the Glenn Robertson right at the top for A, incidents of regulatory. It looks like the one adverse turbidity incident got added into that. So it's in there for Alexandria, and then it's in there for Glen Robertson as well,
Through Mr. Mayor, sorry, do you mean in the minutes or in my report?
in the minutes.
Oh,
So like page 2 of the minutes is page 2 of 6. So it's notes and comments.
oh,
Just-
yes, I see. Thank you.
So just because that obviously becomes record going forward.
Yep. We will update that, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You'd mentioned that one issue, and I know it's been ongoing, is water loss in the system. I'm assuming that you're not thinking that most of the water loss, or little of it, would be coming from the Maxville system, given it's virtually new, versus, of course, the Alexandria system, which we know is very old.
Through Mr. Mayor, there is actually significant water loss in Maxville, but part of the problem is because it is also such a small system, it doesn't take many large outlier events to throw all of the major usage off. So if the whole town only uses a certain amount of water and there is, say, a fire around there that we're pulling from those hydrants, you can pull a significant amount of water in that time. That can skew our water usage results. So as an overall system, Maxville isn't losing a large percentage compared to Alexandria, but it's losing more than we would think. So that also, we've been in discussions with Neptune, who is the water system, and actually I've talked to Mike a bit because he's got a lot of experience coming from City of Cornwall, and how Neptune ties into our accounting system has something to do with it as well. The way that we count the water meters, so it's an ongoing discussion with them, and at the moment we're just trying to narrow it down. So adding the water meters to the fire station is a very good portion, because often the tankers are going to other municipalities for mutual aid, and they'll fill up in the water station when they get back and when they leave, and there's also been capital projects for SDG counties that have been doing road work. There was some unauthorized hydrant usage during that time that we know about, and so we introduced, that was almost 2 years ago now, and then since then we brought in a metered hydrant that we can deploy with SDG counties. And the nature of that data means, and how long it takes to run the audit, means that we're still really narrowing it down. But yeah, Maxville does have more water loss than we expect, so we're still sort of investigating that mystery, I guess.
Okay, so it could be, I wouldn't identify that as water loss. I would identify that as water that was taken for a reason and needs to be tracked. Quantified. Because my concern is that there's a problem with the brand new system.
Yep, go ahead.
Through Mr. Mayor, yes, I can clarify that we're confident that there's no leaks in the Maxville system. So we actually have listening equipment, and so we're able to go out and check that. And because Maxville's a small system, we're able to see that we don't have leaks there. It's a usage or accounting issue in Maxville, and then Alexandria, we have been finding leaks with the listening devices and going and fixing them, but it's an old system, so it's an ongoing battle there.
Different issues. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Further questions or comments on this? Good job, D'Angela. Let her know that. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. None opposed. And moving on to items under the consent agenda, Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Cadell, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive the items from the consent agenda for information purposes only.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried. Notice of motion, our next regular meeting of council, Monday, July 13th at 6 p.m. here in council chambers. Question period. Are there any questions from the audience? Okay, seeing none, We are going into closed session on matters that relates to pending acquisition or disposition of land and other that relates to confidential, commercial, financial, or labor relations. So we'll take a 5-minute break and then we'll proceed in camera. So thank you everyone for joining us this evening, and have a great rest of your week, and hopefully we'll see you at some of the Canada Day activities. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello. Okay, so this is my first council meeting, so I came in excited, wanting to participate. I watched a lot of the backlog of the YouTube videos, and I realized there is so much that goes into running the town. And I wonder, why do people not participate in these meetings? Well, I thought maybe it's because it's kind of dry, you know. We're discussing bylaw, we're discussing zoning. This stuff is very important, but you know what? It is actually kind of exciting as you get to take part in the future of the town, right, and the way that things are run. But I realized in the middle of the meeting that we are only allowed one question at the end of the meeting. So my question to you is, why are members of the public not allowed to participate in all of the agenda items?
These are business meetings, and as such, it would make it very difficult for us to get through a meeting. We're having people asking questions out of the audience. We have public meetings for certain items, and of course, all members of council are available. We're for phone calls prior to a meeting or after a meeting, or to ask a question during question period. We're wide open on those kinds of things. And this was a fairly quiet meeting this evening, but you know, there are contentious issues that arise, and it would make it very difficult to.
It's quiet because we're not permitted to speak.
You find me a council in all of Ontario that allows that to happen, and it just doesn't. It just can't.
It would happen if I was mayor.
Okay, this isn't a campaign event, Cody, but thanks for your comments. Appreciate them. Thank
I
you.
see here additional questions may be permitted at the discretion of the mayor.
Yep.
If someone takes time out of their day to participate
Do you have
and
another
they care
question?
enough
You
to
can go
ask,
ahead and ask it.
why would they not be given discretion to speak? We could put a time cap on it, right? If it's about getting things done, we could put a time limit. But I think it's a good faith question, and I think it's worth pressing.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so that's our current procedural bylaw, is one question, and the rest is at the discretion of the mayor. The mayor often allows additional questions if the time is reasonable, and so the second question would be at the discretion of the mayor.
I've never
Procedural-
disallowed anybody from asking another question. 3 questions, never a problem for people to ask questions. Councillor Massey?
Not during the meeting.
No, but not during, you're asking during the meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, during the meeting,
Oh,
that's,
sorry.
go ahead, you gotta.
Why not?
Maybe I can just make a comment. You are gonna put your name in for mayor?
He
I believe?
is.
You are in. So basically, when we run or you run and we submit our thing to the public, they have their confidence in us. That's why we're here. So they have faith in us that we will make the right decision. Something goes awry, they will come and contact us or call us or visit us or something. But basically, that's why an election is there. So not everybody can speak. They chose somebody to speak on their behalf. So basically, simple as that. Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
It's important to know that these meetings are run under Robert's Rules of Order, which are the rules of order for maintaining order in a meeting. And there's one little paragraph here, if I could read. Meeting rules of order provide a structured framework for organizations to conduct business efficiently, protect minority viewpoints, and make fair decisions. They ensure that only one topic is discussed at a time. Everyone has the right to speak, and all actions are decided by a majority vote.
May I ask another question in response to that?
Go ahead.
Is public participation in public meetings an inefficiency to you?
We
I'm
don't.
sorry.
If they're called public meetings, then I- a public meeting under the Municipal Act, we follow the rules of the Municipal Act, and which is what all municipal councils are bound by. And it's a public meeting. When it's called a public, the first two were public meetings. People can get up and ask any questions at all that they want. But not, go ahead.
I'm sorry, thank you, Mr. Mayor. But meetings are open to the public. It doesn't mean that they can come and.
We're just not allowed to participate.
Right.
Understood.
Yeah.
Thanks for the clarity.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 5-minute break, and then we'll come back for in-camera session. Okay, good evening. We're back from our closed session, and I'll call upon Councillor Madden to read the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Martin, that council rise and report from the closed session held on Monday, June 22nd, 2026, and that the regular council meeting resume at 8:17 p.m. And that the following motion be adopted. That the council of the Township of North Glengarry adopt bylaw 33, 2026, being a bylaw to enter into lease agreement with Freedom Adventures SDG. And that bylaw 33, 2026 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 22nd day of June 2026. And that council directs staff to proceed as discussed in closed session, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute any necessary documents to give effect to this resolution.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Councillor Martin, ratification.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Williams, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry adopt bylaw 34-2026, being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by resolution, and that bylaw 34-2026 be read a first, second, and third time and enacted in open council this 22nd day of June, 2026.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. And no further business. Deputy Mayor Williams.
Oh, okay. Too bad, I was surprised. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Massey. There being no further business to discuss, the meeting was adjourned at 8:19 p.m.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Again, have a great week.
July 1st activities.
Put your mic on if you want to. So, June 27th, July 1st in Glen Robertson, the
Apple Hill.
Apple Hill and
See you in Maxville on June 30th.
Maxville and Apple Hill are June 30th. And then
Alexandria.
Alexandria is July 1st. So
Parade
hopefully,
starts at noon at Rulo, ending at the park.
excellent. Great.
Activities to follow.
All right. Thank you. All
Kayaks.
right. Good night.